So it's Tuesday, May 24th. We just got back from Road America. We got the car out of the trailer trying to assess some things. So both of our vehicles ended up in the wall of some sorts. I spun around somehow, either hit some oil in the track or lost it, and I backed the truck into the wall. So it looks like I was racing at Darlington on the driver's side of the truck, and Preston in turn 11A and B in that area at Road America had this happen. Fortunately, I wouldn't have put my son into a car that didn't have some give in the front end, so most of this, even though it looks really gross, we can chop the nose off right here and rebuild the bumper and bumper assembly, so we already have the parts on the way to do that. So just for reference, this car has the Gen 1 style frame rail in it from like a first gen Mustang with a Detroit Speed front end, but what I added to it was from here forward is kind of what you see like in a dirt late model or even kind of a NASCAR type car, where I made a two bumper structure. So Preston hit pretty good because this is 1.5-inch tubing, and it bent it all the way across along with the core support structure that I built, and then he ground it to where this tube is more or less ready to come off. I mean, I could probably wiggle it back and forth. So it hit, impacted, and he skidded down the wall quite a ways with the nose. That whole section is kind of pushed over a little bit, but the frame rails themselves appear to be pretty straight. There's no cracking in any of the powder coating, welds, anything like that. So it's really from about the front of the fenders forwards where the damage is. So we'll be able to get that fixed pretty quick. The car should be up and going in a couple more weeks as soon as the parts get here. Truck for me was pretty much all superficial, ended up needing a shock. Preston and I are going to sit down and kind of review how the weekend went in general, and hope you enjoy some of the videos of the laps we did at Road America.
So we kind of had a pretty eventful weekend, I would say.
Yeah, normal weekend. So, you know, car gets classified as an outlaw. I crash the truck, you crash the car. We come home, we're both beat. It's time to rebuild and move forward.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of sucks that the car was put in an outlaw, but it kind of gives us an opportunity, I think, to revise everything and make something a little bit more radical, if you will.
Yeah, I've already emailed Optima to see if we can swap out some of the glass since the windshield's cracked with like an optic armor window and back glass. And I think we'll probably change the hatch up to the carbon hatch. So we're gonna ditch the rear wing that's on it.
Yeah.
I do think it'd be fun almost to build a car identical to it and take it there and keep it more conforming, maybe with like a roadster shop chassis.
Good. It's definitely an option. I was pretty happy with how the car overall felt, though. I mean, this was really our first chance to get the car on track. It sucks that we didn't really get any good footage of the car on track, except for autocross, but even in the autocross, the car felt really capable. I know that you and I kind of talked about the steering input and seeing if we were going to have to speed that up, but surprisingly it was way more capable than I was thinking originally. So I was pretty happy with how the car performed overall, just as a new fresh build, but like on the road course it was hauling ass. I mean, I'm excited for once we get it on track and get everything kind of repaired again.
I think if I give you some downforce, the car will even be better.
Yeah.
I was surprised though. I looked back at the scores just a little bit, and you were like the third or fourth fastest car in the autocross.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, you didn't do the speed stop. The speed stop, that event was like half the autocross with the stop box in it, so you would have done really well there also.
Yeah.
I was really disappointed in myself on the autocross. I mean, I went down to Texas to run the C10 Nationals, and I finished like, I don't know, fourth probably overall. Their scoring, you can't really track it, and I didn't stick around for the awards, so I want to get back home. So I keep working on my autocross skills, but you know, those cones coming at me at warp 9, I still have trouble. Maybe I need to play video games. I've really never played video games, so I kind of suck at the cone game.
I'll get you hyped up on Mountain Dew or something beforehand.
Yeah. I did end up, I think, in the autocross fourth.
Yeah, I think so.
In the speed stop, I think I ended up third.
Yeah, well, in the,
third or fourth, I don't know. But in the road course, I laid down the fastest time, and I beat the fastest truck by about 4 seconds. So Scott Mayer's C10R was hauling ass pretty good. I mean, in comparison, our vehicles are completely different. I mean, he's got a sequential gearbox, paddle shift, big ass Mass Motorsports engine. I don't know if he's switched to IRS or not, but I mean, he's got probably an epic ton of money in it, like probably as much as my house cost or more in that truck, or maybe 2 of my houses. And for me to be able to get him just showed dumb determination on my part. And I did lose it in a practice session where I spun the truck around and took the driver's side out, kind of pancaked a little bit, but I went back out. We found a broken shock, and I hit send, and fastest time by about 4 seconds in my class.
Yeah, I mean, it was nice to see, and you were kind of touching on it before, like the truck class is definitely getting a lot more competitive. I mean, last year I got to race that Frontier truck, and he always did extremely well in autocross and the speed stop, especially with his all-wheel drive with LS, which is pretty rad.
That Nissan twin turbocharged truck was insanely fast off the line. I was just kind of blown away with it. And then there was a Durango Hemi supercharged thing there that was pretty damn fast too. Mm-hmm. So I think the overall scores, I podiumed, I finished P3. Mm-hmm. So that Frontier won because of his autocross and speed stop scores. His D&E was pretty damn high too. Mm-hmm. Scott Mayer's D&E was nearly perfect. I would like to race Jesse Vaughn on the road course, but Jesse had some clutch issues or throwout bearing issue with his sequential, so sometimes that fancier stuff can break. It's just more shit you have, the more problems you can have.
Yeah, and talking to him, it was like this thing that broke was the single thing that he didn't bring, and it shows kind of the Optima stuff, the war of attrition, if you will, as far as sometimes being prepared and knowing that stuff is going to break and having the capability to fix it on track. I mean, we broke a shock and we thankfully had a spare because planned ahead. But even, hell, I think you drove in the speed stop with a broken shock and still were doing relatively good. So.
I think I was out on the road course with a broken shock, to be honest with you, and in autocross. I didn't catch it up. We had our good friend Jim from Indy Power Products help us a little bit. And Jim's got a ton of NASCAR experience, so him and I kind of went through the truck in the pits, and we spotted some oil around one of the fittings on the shock, and I'm like, that's not right. And it looked like there'd been oil there for a little while. So it just really shows you got to really open the hood up, crawl underneath these vehicles, especially these extreme performance things when you're either driving them on the street or on the track, because a broken shock doesn't seem like a big deal, but leaking and it doesn't perform right, it could really cause major issues.
Yeah, but we got it fixed, and then you and I kind of looked at the overall course. You used your catalyst, and then we took a look at the video and gave you some pointers, and like you said, you hit send it and sent it.
Yeah. So. For those who don't know, the catalyst, Garmin has a driving aid deal with a camera in it, so it gives you some feedback and coaching. It's kind of a cool piece. Mm-hmm. I got it from my friend Ralph at Garmin. We're not sponsored by Garmin, and I paid for it, but it's a pretty cool device, and I recommend it if anybody's going to track their car and they want a little feedback. It does video, and then it'll play back the video from the screen. It just pops out, and you can see it. We'll embed a couple of videos of me driving on the track and some autocross stuff in this piece.
Yeah, so I guess next up is kind of tearing back into this. I mean, sounds like you already got the front bumper already planned out. Everyone wants us to put the 3-piece headlights in, so...
I got the 3-piece headlights. I finally found them.
So
no more 1-piece headlights. The nose is going to be just a little different than this one, and I'm going to make it so it detaches with the splitter. Probably going to put a big wing in the back, maybe some active aero, and make it so it can haul ass more.
So I think our next event potentially trying is either VIR or Utah. I don't know. I think both are in October, so...
I think we should probably do both. We might look at doing that Ford thing, too, the Ford Intergalactic Ford Festival.
Mm-hmm. It'd be a good event, especially to show off the new 7.3 stuff and some of the stuff that we got going on. I mean, some people have seen it, but we've done a lot of motor development with Indy Power Products, and especially like our new intake. And we put a lot of time and effort into kind of figuring that stuff out, and we were on the dyno right before we left, even trying to get everything dialed back in just a little bit more. But I was extremely pleased with overall the power and the tuning and being able to kind of control everything both on the autocross and on the road course. So that's something to definitely look at. So I'll drop a link in the description below. So if you want to check out the intake, you can check that out. So
we should do a video too for just the Godzilla people, because very few people, actually really no one knows except for Brian Wolf from Willis Performance and Jim, that this is on motor rebuild. The first motor we kind of rebuilt it twice, and this is the second complete engine that we put in the car. We had some teething woes with some lifters, so we had some lifters flat spot. Ford's doing some metallurgic stuff on it. I talked to him this morning, but it looks like it could have been some heat treating or something in the lifter that caused the rollers actually to fail on them. I'm working with Dave at Visner Engine Development on a naturally aspirated motor for this too. So, but the ProCharge bitch ran like a son of a bitch. So I'm glad that you were able to get some lap times until you had your incident.
Yeah, I mean, to go out there and already be beating my fastest truck time and being under black flag conditions and just the areas that we were in was pretty exciting. So I think that overall the car is going to be a monster once we get it dialed in and I start getting comfortable with it. So but yeah, I think that's kind of it for
let's wrap it up and let everybody have a good day. Thanks for watching, and make sure you check out our YouTube channel, CWI Performance.
Thanks.